What if everything you were taught about achieving your goals was not just wrong, but was specifically designed to keep you from ever reaching them? What if the very act of chasing what you want is the precise mechanism that pushes it further away? What if the sweat on your brow, the anxiety in your chest, the relentless hustle you have been told to worship, is not the price of success, but the frequency of failure broadcasting itself into a field that can only respond in kind? Pause with that for a moment. Because what we are about to explore is not another productivity hack. It is not another motivational speech telling you to work harder, wake up earlier, grind longer. What we are about to dismantle is the foundational lie upon which nearly every system of achievement in the modern world has been constructed. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you feel the truth of this in your body, the way you move through reality will never be the same. This is the paradox of the blind observer, and it changes everything. Let us begin where the programming began. From the moment you became aware of the world around you, from the very first breath you took in this three-dimensional experience, you were injected with a doctrine so pervasive, so deeply embedded in every institution, every classroom, every family dinner table conversation, that you never once thought to question it. They called it ambition. They called it work ethic. They called it the path to success. But what it actually was, what it has always been, is a cage built from the inside out. A cage you maintain with your own energy. A cage whose bars are made not of steel, but of belief. The doctrine of pursuit. You were taught that if you want something, you must go after it. You must chase it. You must sacrifice sleep, sacrifice peace, sacrifice the quiet knowing of your own wholeness, and throw every ounce of your being at the thing you desire until it finally, mercifully, yields to your exhaustion. They told you that ambition is measured in sweat, that success belongs to those who hustle the hardest, that the universe rewards relentless effort and punishes those who dare to be still. And you believed it. Not because you are foolish, but because everyone around you believed it too. Because the entire architecture of the world you were born into was built on this assumption. Because from school grades to corporate ladders to social media metrics, every system you have ever encountered reinforced the same message. More effort equals more results. Push harder, try harder, want it more. But here is what no one tells you. That doctrine was never designed to help you succeed. It was designed to keep your energy locked in a frequency that the quantum field cannot respond to. It was designed to keep you running on a wheel, generating heat, generating noise, generating the electromagnetic signature of someone who does not have what they want, someone who is incomplete, someone who is fundamentally lacking. And that signature, that frequency of lack, is the one thing the conscious fabric of reality is mathematically allergic to. Let that land. You have been running your entire life, and the very act of running is what has been pushing your destination further away. Think about it with the cold clarity of physics for a moment. When you pursue something, when you chase it with desperation and need, what are you actually communicating at the deepest level of your being? You are declaring, with every fiber of your electromagnetic field, that you do not have it. You are broadcasting absence. You are screaming into the void that you are empty, that you are insufficient, that you need this external thing to complete you. And the field, which is nothing more than a mirror of your own internal state, receives that broadcast and does the only thing it can do. It reflects your lack right back to you. It gives you more of what you are signaling. More distance, more wanting, more of the experience of not having. This is not metaphor. This is not poetry dressed up as wisdom. This is the physics of how observation collapses probability. This is what happens when consciousness meets the quantum field, and the field responds not to what you want, but to what you are. So let us go deeper. Let us pull this apart layer by layer until there is nothing left but the raw mechanism underneath. Because once you understand the mechanism, you do not need motivation. You do not need discipline. You do not need another 5-year plan. You need a fundamental shift in the way you relate to reality itself. Consider what desire actually is when you strip away all the cultural mythology surrounding it. Desire is not a creative force. That is perhaps the most dangerous misunderstanding in the entire landscape of personal development. You have been told that desire is the spark that ignites manifestation, that wanting something badly enough is the first step toward having it, that you should visualize your goals, obsess over them, let them consume your waking hours and invade your dreams. But look at what desire actually does inside your system. Look at it honestly, without the romantic lens that has been placed over your eyes since childhood. When you desire something, what is the felt experience in your body? There is a reaching. There is a tension. There is a gap between where you are and where you want to be, and that gap creates friction. It creates heat. It creates the unmistakable sensation of not enough. Desire is the explicit recognition of absence. It is your nervous system declaring to every particle in your local field that something is missing. And that declaration, that electromagnetic confession of scarcity, is the most destructive force you can unleash upon your own probability field. Imagine for a moment that your consciousness operates like a reactor. At the core of your being, there is an immense reservoir of creative potential, a dense, compressed field of possibility that is capable of collapsing probability waves and materializing outcomes in the physical world. For that reactor to function at full capacity, the energy inside must remain contained. It must stay compressed, coherent, focused. It needs density. It needs stillness. It needs the kind of pressure that only comes from absolute internal containment. But when you introduce obsessive desire into that system, you open a fissure. You crack the containment vessel. And your energy, your voltage, your creative potential begins to leak out in the form of anxious projection. You start bleeding electromagnetically into an imaginary future where you finally have the thing you want. You pour your present moment power into a fantasy that does not yet exist, and in doing so, you drain the very reservoir that would have made it real. This is the thermal hemorrhage of wanting. This is the friction that most people never recognize because they have been taught to celebrate it. They call it passion. They call it drive. They call it being hungry. But in the physics of the field, it is nothing more than wasted energy. Pure entropy. The sound of a reactor cooling itself into impotence through its own desperate emissions. If this is landing for you, if you can feel this truth rearranging something inside your understanding, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this channel so these transmissions keep finding you when you need them most. And here is where it gets even more precise. In classical mechanics, when two surfaces rub against each other with resistance, they generate friction, and friction manifests as heat. That heat is energy that has been lost to the system. It cannot be recovered. It cannot be redirected. It simply dissipates into the environment as waste. In the mechanics of manifestation, need is the most destructive friction force in existence. When you need something, when you are desperate for an outcome, your entire system enters a state of high-friction operation. Your thoughts race, your heart rate increases, your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. You are generating enormous amounts of residual heat, and that heat radiates outward into the field as a low-frequency signal that conscious matter interprets as static, as noise, as the unmistakable signature of an organism that is not in coherence with what it claims to want. And conscious matter, the stuff that composes opportunities, resources, connections, capital, the submission of obstacles, is allergic to that heat. When you approach the field vibrating in the frequency of need, your energetic signature is so chaotic, so hot, so saturated with the static of desperation that you burn the very probabilities you are trying to solidify. You incinerate them before they can collapse into form. This is why you have watched people who seem to do everything right still fail. They had the plan, they had the strategy, they had the work ethic. But underneath all of that doing, they were vibrating with the frequency of someone who needed it to work. And that need, that invisible electromagnetic confession, overrode every action they took. The field does not respond to your actions. The field responds to your state, and no amount of effort can compensate for a state of internal scarcity. Now breathe into this for a moment, because this is where the paradox begins to reveal its deeper architecture. Have you ever noticed that the things that came to you most effortlessly in your life were the things you were least attached to? Think back. There was probably a job you got when you had already mentally moved on from wanting it. A relationship that appeared the moment you stopped looking. Money that flowed in during the exact period when you were most at peace with what you already had. These were not coincidences. These were demonstrations of a principle so fundamental to the nature of reality that it operates whether you believe in it or not. The universe does not deliver to the hand that is grasping. It delivers to the hand that is open and relaxed. Not because the universe is playing some cruel game of keep away, but because the physics of the field require coherence. They require a match between your internal signal and the outcome you are calling forth. And coherence cannot exist in the presence of desperate need. Coherence can only exist in the presence of wholeness, in the presence of a being who is already complete, already sufficient, already vibrating at the frequency of having rather than wanting. I want to hear from you on this. What is the one thing you have been chasing the hardest that you now realize may have been pushed further away by the very intensity of your pursuit? My complete guide, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery, walks you through the full system of 9 master frequencies, step by step, from transforming resistance into creative power to living as the field itself rather than separate from it. It is linked in the pinned comment below. Drop it in the comments. Be honest with yourself. This is where most people hit a wall, because the mind immediately protests. It says, "But if I do not want it, how will I ever get it? If I do not chase it, how will it come to me? If I stop trying, am I not just giving up?" And this is the most beautiful part of the paradox, because the answer is no. Stopping the chase is not giving up. Stopping the chase is the most powerful thing you will ever do. It is the moment you stop being the prey and start being the center of gravity around which everything orbits. Let me explain this through a lens that might crack something open inside you. Think about how a black hole works. A black hole does not chase matter. A black hole does not reach out into space and grab stars and pull them toward itself. A black hole simply exists with such immense density, such concentrated mass, such overwhelming gravitational presence, that everything in its vicinity has no choice but to fall toward it. The black hole does not try. The black hole does not want. The black hole simply is, and its being is so dense, so complete, so utterly self-contained that reality itself bends around it. Now imagine applying that same principle to your own consciousness. Imagine withdrawing all of that energy you have been pouring into the chase, all of that voltage you have been bleeding into desperate pursuit, and pulling it back into the center of your being, compressing it, containing it, allowing it to build density inside you rather than dissipating outward into the friction of wanting. What happens when you do this? What happens when you stop emitting the frequency of lack and start accumulating mass at the center of your own field? You become gravitational. You stop chasing opportunities, and opportunities start falling toward you. You stop pursuing people, and people start orbiting around you. You stop grasping at outcomes, and outcomes start collapsing into your reality with a precision that would seem miraculous if you did not understand the physics behind it. This is not magic. This is not wishful thinking. This is what happens when you remove the friction from your system and allow the natural mechanics of the field to operate without interference. You become a superconductor. In materials physics, a superconductor is an element that has been cooled to such a degree that all electrical resistance vanishes. In that state, current flows through the material without losing a single unit of energy. There is no friction. There is no heat. There is no waste. The full power of the current moves through the system with perfect efficiency. Now imagine applying that cooling to your own ambition. Not killing your ambition, not abandoning your vision, but removing the emotional friction that has been degrading your signal. Removing the heat of desperation. Removing the resistance of need. Cooling your system down to a state of such perfect internal equilibrium that your intention flows through the field without losing a single electron of power. This is what it means to operate from certainty rather than desire, and the difference between the two is everything. Desire says, I hope this happens. I need this to work. I will fight for this because without it, I am not enough. Desire is hot. It is humid. It is noisy. It generates enormous amounts of friction and waste. Certainty says, this is mine. Not with arrogance, not with aggression, but with the quiet, immovable knowing of a law of physics. Gravity does not hope objects will fall. Gravity does not need objects to fall. Gravity simply operates, and objects fall. Certainty is the same. It is gelled. It is silent. It is cool. And it moves through the field with zero resistance because there is nothing inside it that contradicts the outcome it carries. Feel the difference in your body right now. Feel the difference between wanting something and knowing something. Wanting creates tension in your chest, a forward lean, a reaching. Knowing creates stillness, depth, a settling into the core of your being that feels like coming home. That settling, that stillness, that is the frequency the field responds to. That is the signal that collapses probability waves. That is the state from which empires are built, not through the exhaustion of pursuit, but through the irresistible gravity of presence. But here is where it gets even more interesting. Because there is a parasite in your system that will fight this shift with everything it has, and that parasite is urgency. The human nervous system has been colonized by the tyranny of time. You have been programmed to believe that you are running out of it, that opportunities have expiration dates, that if you do not act now, right now, with frantic immediacy, you will miss your window and be left behind. This urgency is not a natural state. It is an implanted program, and it is the preferred fuel of scarcity. When you operate from urgency, you are telling the field that you do not control time. You are confessing that time controls you. You are admitting that you are subordinate to the clock, that you are at the mercy of external deadlines, that your power is conditional upon circumstances you cannot command. And that confession of powerlessness generates the same friction, the same heat, the same low-frequency static that desire and need generate. It degrades your signal. It fractures your coherence. It turns your superconductor back into a resistor. The being who has mastered the blind observer paradox does not operate from urgency, not because they are lazy, not because they do not care, but because they understand something that most people never grasp. The field renders reality in real time based on your internal state. There is no deadline that exists outside of your own belief in it. There is no window that closes unless you close it with your own panic. The opportunity does not disappear when you refuse to chase it. The opportunity freezes. It waits. It hovers in the probability field, patient and available, until you, from your state of zero friction, decide whether to allow it to collapse into your experience or release it back into the void. Speed without urgency is power. Speed with haste is weakness. There is a profound difference between moving quickly because you are clear, because your intention is precise and your energy is coherent, and moving quickly because you are afraid. The first is the movement of mastery. The second is the flailing of a drowning organism. And the field knows the difference. The field always knows the difference. So let us talk about what real detachment looks like, because this is where most people get confused. They hear the word detachment, and they think it means wanting nothing. They think it means sitting in a cave, renouncing the world, pretending they do not care about outcomes. That is not detachment. That is suppression dressed up as spirituality. That is the ego pretending to be enlightened while secretly terrified of wanting something and not getting it. Real detachment is far more radical than that. Real detachment is aiming for the absolute maximum of what you can envision, holding the full weight of your grandest possibility in the center of your awareness, and simultaneously not needing a single particle of it to maintain your internal completeness. It is the marriage of ambition and freedom. It is wanting everything and needing nothing. It is the willingness to play the game at the highest level while knowing, in the marrow of your bones, that your wholeness does not depend on the score. Imagine holding your greatest vision in the palm of your consciousness right now. See it clearly. The life you want to build, the impact you want to have, the reality you want to inhabit. Look at it with total clarity. Now feel into this. Feel into the possibility that you could pursue this vision not from a place of need, but from a place of creative overflow. Not because you are empty without it, but because you are so full that creating it is simply what your fullness does. The way a star does not shine because it needs to, A star shines because shining is what happens when that much energy is contained in one place. When you reach this state, something extraordinary happens in your relationship with the field. The field detects that you are no longer playing the game of lack. It detects that you have no attachment to outcome, no fear of loss, no desperate need for validation through external results. And in that detection, the field enters a kind of crisis. Because the field, the matrix, the three-dimensional rendering engine of reality, only has leverage over you when you have something to lose. When you have extracted the fear of loss from your system, when you have amputated need at the root, the field loses its ability to manipulate you. You become an unanchored force, a player who does not value the chips, and ironically, paradoxically, beautifully, this is the exact moment when the chips begin to pile up at your feet. Not because you earned them through suffering, not because you proved yourself worthy through exhaustion, but because your lack of resistance created a vacuum so powerful that reality had no choice but to fill it. This is the attracting void. This is what happens in the millisecond when friction disappears completely from your system. By withdrawing your obsessive pursuit of external outcomes, you generate a crater of density at the center of your being. All that energy you used to waste on chasing, on wanting, on needing, on fearing, it does not disappear. It accumulates, it compresses, it builds gravitational mass inside you. And that mass, that density, that sheer electromagnetic weight begins to warp the fabric of your local reality. Tell me in the comments, when was the moment you first felt this shift, even briefly? That instant when you stopped forcing and something just clicked into place? I want to know what that looked like for you. You are no longer the greyhound chasing the mechanical rabbit around the track. You have become the track itself. You have become the gravitational center around which the rabbit, the other greyhounds, the spectators, the entire stadium of reality orbits. Not because you demanded it, not because you forced it, but because you became so dense, so still, so complete in your own containment, that the physics of the situation left no other possibility. Feel this in your body right now. Feel what it would be like to stop reaching, to stop leaning forward into some imaginary future, to pull all of your energy back into this moment, into this breath, into the center of your chest where your true power lives. Feel the density build. Feel the gravity increase. Feel yourself becoming heavier, more present, more real than you have ever been. This is not a visualization exercise. This is a recalibration of your electromagnetic signature. This is you, right now, in this moment, shifting from the frequency of pursuit to the frequency of presence. From the frequency of wanting to the frequency of being. From the frequency of the prey to the frequency of the singularity. Now let us go even deeper into the mechanics of this, because understanding the principle is only the first layer. Embodying it requires you to confront the most stubborn patterns in your nervous system. There is a phenomenon that happens when you first begin to practice this kind of radical stillness. Your mind will revolt. Your conditioning will scream at you that you are wasting time, that you are falling behind, that everyone else is out there hustling, and you are sitting here doing nothing. This is not wisdom speaking. This is the old program fighting for its survival. It is the doctrine of pursuit, recognizing that you are about to uninstall it. And it is throwing every fear, every doubt, every urgent thought it can generate at you in a desperate attempt to keep you on the wheel. Recognize this for what it is. It is not truth. It is friction. It is the residual heat of an old operating system burning itself out. And the only thing you need to do with it is let it burn. Do not fight it. Do not suppress it. Do not try to argue with it or reason it away. Simply observe it. Watch the thoughts arise. Watch the urgency flare. Watch the panic try to grip your chest, and breathe through it. Stay in the center. Stay in the stillness. Let the fire exhaust itself against the cool, immovable surface of your awareness. Because here is what happens on the other side of that fire. When the old program has burned through its fuel and the noise subsides, what remains is something most people have never experienced. A silence so profound, so dense, so alive with potential that it feels like standing at the edge of creation itself. In that silence, you are not doing nothing. You are doing the most powerful thing a conscious being can do. You are holding space. You are maintaining coherence. You are keeping your reactor at zero friction while the field, liberated from the interference of your desperate emissions, begins to render your reality at full speed. This is the mastery of non-action, and it is perhaps the most misunderstood concept in the entire spectrum of human development. Non-action does not mean inaction. It does not mean you never move, never create, never engage with the physical world. It means that when you do move, you move from stillness. When you do create, you create from fullness. When you do engage, you engage from a place of such internal completion that your actions carry the weight of your entire being rather than the desperation of your unmet needs. There is a world of difference between action that arises from anxiety and action that arises from alignment. The first is noisy, scattered, and self-defeating. It generates more friction than it resolves. The second is precise, effortless, and devastatingly effective. It moves through the field like a laser through fog, collapsing probability waves with surgical accuracy because there is no internal contradiction degrading the signal. Think about the moments in your life when you were most effective. Not the moments when you were most busy, but the moments when you were most effective. Chances are, those were moments of deep clarity. Moments when you were not overthinking, not second-guessing, not drowning in the noise of need. You were simply present, simply clear, simply moving from a place of knowing rather than hoping. And in those moments, reality seemed to cooperate with you in ways that felt almost supernatural. Doors opened, people appeared, resources materialized, not because you forced them into existence, but because your coherence created a channel through which the field could deliver them without obstruction. That state is not a rare gift reserved for the lucky few. That state is your natural operating frequency. It is the frequency you were designed to inhabit before the doctrine of pursuit scrambled your signal and convinced you that struggle was the price of admission to a meaningful life. Now here is something that will deepen this understanding even further. Consider the observer effect in quantum mechanics. At the subatomic level, particles exist in a state of pure potential, a probability wave, until they are observed. The act of observation is what collapses the wave into a specific outcome. The particle does not decide on its own what to become. It becomes what the observer's attention calls it into being. But here is the part that most people miss when they hear about the observer effect. The quality of the observation matters. It is not just that you look at something and it becomes real. It is how you look at it. The consciousness you bring to the act of observation determines the nature of what collapses. When you observe your desired reality through the lens of need, through the hot, chaotic, friction-filled lens of desperation, you are collapsing a very specific kind of probability wave. You are collapsing the wave that matches your signal, and your signal, saturated with lack, collapses a reality that reflects that lack right back at you. More obstacles, more delays, more of the experience of wanting and not having. But when you observe your desired reality through the lens of certainty, through the cool, coherent, friction-free lens of someone who already embodies the frequency of their vision, you collapse an entirely different probability wave. You collapse the wave that matches wholeness, that matches completion, that matches the reality where what you envision is not a distant hope, but a present fact. This is the blind observer paradox at its most precise. The paradox is this: the observer who tries hardest to see the outcome, who squints and strains and pours all their desperate attention into making reality conform to their will, is the observer who distorts the field most violently. Their very effort creates interference patterns that scramble the collapse. But the observer who relaxes their gaze, who softens their attention, who observes with the quiet, diffused awareness of someone who does not need to see any particular outcome, that observer creates the conditions for the most precise, most aligned, most powerful collapse possible. It is the observer who does not need to see who sees most clearly. It is the consciousness that does not grasp that receives most fully. It is the being who has released attachment to the form of the outcome that allows the outcome to take its most perfect form. Let that sink in. You have been trying to force reality to show you what you want. And that forcing, that desperate observation, has been the very thing preventing the collapse you are seeking. The tighter you grip, the more the probability wave slips through your fingers. The harder you stare, the more the field distorts. The louder you demand, the more the silence of the void echoes back your own emptiness. The solution is not to look harder. The solution is to change the quality of your looking, to shift from the hot, grasping gaze of the desperate observer to the cool, expansive awareness of the sovereign one, the one who does not need reality to perform for them, the one who is so complete in their own being that they can afford to let reality be whatever it wants to be. And in that letting, in that radical allowing, reality reorganizes itself around their completeness. This is where everything changes. Because up until now, you have been operating under the assumption that you need to do something to reality in order to get what you want. You need to push it, pull it, manipulate it, force it into the shape of your desires. But the truth is exactly the opposite. You do not need to do anything to reality. You need to do something to yourself. You need to shift your own internal state from scarcity to wholeness, from friction to coherence, from the desperate heat of pursuit to the cool, immovable density of presence. And when you make that shift, reality does the rest. Not because you commanded it, but because you finally stopped interfering with its natural tendency to organize itself around consciousness that is coherent. The rich do not get richer because they work harder than the poor. The rich get richer because they operate from a fundamentally different frequency. The person who invests from a place of abundance, who does not need the investment to work in order to feel secure, who can afford to lose and remain whole, that person's electromagnetic signature is coherent. It is clean. It is friction-free. And the field responds to that coherence by collapsing favorable probability waves around them with effortless precision. The person who invests their last savings with trembling hands, who needs the return to survive, who checks the numbers every hour with a racing heart, that person's signature is pure static. It is noise. It is the electromagnetic equivalent of screaming into a hurricane. And no matter how smart their strategy is, no matter how sound their logic, the field cannot respond to a signal that is drowning in its own interference. This is not a moral judgment. This is physics. The field does not care about fairness. The field does not care about who deserves what. The field responds to signal clarity. Period. And signal clarity is a function of internal state, not external circumstance. Which means the most revolutionary thing you can do right now in this moment is not to change your strategy. It is not to find a better plan, or a smarter approach, or a more efficient system. The most revolutionary thing you can do is to change your state, to cool your reactor, to seal the fissures where your energy has been leaking out into the friction of wanting. To pull your attention back from the imaginary future and anchor it in the dense gravitational center of the present moment. To declare, not with words, but with the full weight of your being, that you are already whole, that you are already sufficient, that the outcome you seek is not something you need to chase, but something that is already in orbit around the density of your own coherence, waiting for you to stop interfering with its arrival. And here is the practice. Here is where this stops being a concept and starts being a lived experience. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. If you are driving or walking, simply soften your gaze and bring your attention inward. Feel your body. Feel the weight of it. Feel the density of your bones, the warmth of your blood, the quiet electrical hum of your nervous system. Now notice where you are holding tension. Notice where the friction lives in your body. It might be in your jaw, clenched tight with the effort of trying. It might be in your shoulders, raised and braced against the anticipated difficulty of the future. It might be in your chest, where the ache of wanting has taken up permanent residence. Wherever you find it, breathe into it. Not to fix it, not to force it to release, but to observe it. To bring the cool, diffused awareness of the sovereign observer to the places in your body where the old program of pursuit has been generating its friction. And as you breathe, feel something begin to shift. Feel the tension start to soften. Not because you are making it soften, but because the act of true observation, observation without agenda, observation without need, naturally dissolves resistance. The friction cannot survive in the presence of awareness that does not feed it. The heat cannot sustain itself when you stop adding fuel. Now feel what remains when the friction subsides. Feel the stillness underneath. Feel the density. Feel the weight of your own being when it is not scattered across 1,000 desperate projections into the future. This is your natural state. This is the frequency you were born to inhabit. This is the signal that the field has been waiting for you to emit since the moment you forgot how. Stay here for a moment. Stay in this density. Stay in this stillness. And notice something remarkable. From this place, your desires do not disappear. Your visions do not fade. Your ambitions do not dissolve into apathy. They are still there, but they have changed quality. They are no longer hot and desperate and grasping. They are cool and clear and inevitable. They feel less like things you need to chase and more like things that are already on their way. Less like distant dreams and more like approaching weather. You can feel them coming, not because you are pulling them toward you with effort, but because you have become the kind of gravitational center that they cannot help but fall toward. This is the state from which everything you have ever wanted becomes possible. Not through the exhaustion of pursuit, but through the irresistible physics of presence. Consider sharing this with someone you know who has been trapped on that wheel of desperate pursuit. Someone who has been burning themselves out, chasing what is already theirs. When you share this understanding, you create a ripple in the collective field. You reinforce your own coherence by transmitting it outward, and you give someone else the permission to finally stop running. That single act of sharing can become the synchronicity that shifts two realities at once. Now carry this understanding forward into the next hour of your life, and the hour after that. Not as a technique to be applied, but as a truth to be remembered. Every time you catch yourself reaching, chasing, grasping, needing, pause, breathe. Pull your energy back to center, cool the reactor, seal the fissure, and remind yourself that you are not the greyhound. You are the gravitational center. You are not the one who chases. You are the one around whom reality organizes itself. The doctrine of pursuit was the most effective cage ever built because it convinced you that the key to your freedom was more running, more effort, more struggle, more of the very thing that was keeping you trapped. But now you see through it. Now you understand that the cage was never locked from the outside. It was powered from the inside, by your own desperate energy, by your own friction, by your own belief that you were not enough without the thing you were chasing. And in the moment you withdraw that energy, in the moment you stop powering the cage with your own need, the bars dissolve. Not slowly, not gradually. They dissolve in the same instant that your frequency shifts. Because the cage was never real. It was a probability wave sustained by your observation of it. And the moment you change the quality of your observation, the moment you stop looking at reality through the lens of lack and start looking at it through the lens of wholeness, the cage collapses. And what remains is not emptiness. What remains is everything, arranged around you, waiting for you, already yours. The universe was never withholding anything from you. You were withholding yourself from the universe. You were so busy running that you never stopped long enough to notice that what you were running toward was already running toward you, and all it ever needed, was for you to stand still long enough to let it arrive. This is the paradox of the blind observer. The one who stops looking is the one who finally sees. The one who stops chasing is the one who finally receives. The one who stops needing is the one who finally has. Not because the universe rewards passivity, but because the universe responds to coherence. And coherence is only possible in the absence of friction. And friction is only present when you believe you are separate from what you seek. You are not separate. You never were. The distance between you and your vision was never real. It was a thermal illusion generated by the heat of your own pursuit. Cool the system. Let the illusion dissolve. And watch as the distance between you and everything you have ever wanted collapses to zero. Not someday. Not eventually. Now. In this breath. In this moment of stillness. In this radical act of no longer running from yourself toward yourself. You are already what you seek. The field already knows this. The only one who did not know was you. And now you do, so stop. Breathe. Become the density that warps the fabric of your world. And let reality do what it has always been trying to do. Collapse around you. If something in this shifted your frequency, if you felt something unlock in the stillness between the words, stay in this space. Come back to it. Let it deepen. Subscribe to this channel not as a habit, but as a commitment to the frequency you felt here today. Leave a word in the comments, just one word, that represents what you are releasing. The thing you are no longer willing to chase. Name it. Let the field hear you declare it, and then let it go. The paradox is complete. The observer has closed their eyes, and for the first time, everything is visible. Now that you understand the physics of presence, go deeper into what happens when you seal your energy completely. Watch once you protect your energy completely, your reality shifts forever, because it will show you exactly how to maintain the containment we talked about today so that nothing leaks, nothing scatters, and the field has no choice but to respond.